Whoever controls the food controls you, and that's so true. But remember, whoever controls the land controls the food. Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me here today at Re-Written Vintage Homestead. I wanted to talk to you guys about a trend that I'm seeing on a lot of homestead channels, and that is fear-mongering. And, you know, I'm all for being aware of what's going on with our government and, you know, with our world around us, but I think sometimes it can be taken too far. So let's talk a little bit about contrails. So we've seen them all our life, right? Whenever airplanes are up in the air, you see that white line, follow them up in the sky. Those are contrails. We learned about those in school, and that's water vapor that comes out of the exhaust of the airplane. Now that can mix with dust and dirt, and the further up it goes up in the atmosphere, it can actually turn into ice crystals. And the higher up, or depending on the temperature of the air at that time, those can stay up in the air for long periods of time. Okay, so we're familiar with contrails. Well, there's a thing called chemtrails, and that's what you're hearing a lot of homestead channels talk about. They believe that a lot of these contrails are actually chemtrails from our government doing experiments on us and, you know, all trying to alter our food or control us some other way. So during the Vietnam War, our government tried to seed the clouds with silver and lead iodide. The idea behind it was, you know, they have monsoons in Vietnam. And if they could get those monsoons to extend longer, then perhaps they could stop supply chains of the Viet Cong. And it didn't work. And if it did work at all, if there was rain, we don't know if that was caused by this seeding, but it didn't slow them down any. We didn't win the Vietnam War. So it's happened before, and that didn't come out, I think, until 1974, that we found out that that was a real thing that they were trying to do. They have tried to seed the sky over Texas before when they've been under severe drought. So that being said, let me tell you why it really bothers me. There are some people that take these things to heart. There are some people that are unstable or challenged at this time, under a lot of stress, who may panic, and it could cause them to do something harmful to themselves or to someone else if they think they're being poisoned on a daily basis with no proof at this time. So I just feel like there are more tangible things that if you want to talk about food production and our farm ground and sustainability, there are things that are right now, right in front of us, that we should be throwing a fit about instead of panicking others with what might be in the sky. For example, let's talk about wind farms. So you can tell by the way my hair is blowing, it's a windy day today, and I am not too far from the windmill farm that the community here for years tried to keep from coming to their backyards, but it didn't matter. All the windmills are here anyway. Now behind me you can see one of the windmills is turning, but several of the other ones aren't. And so you kind of wonder, on a windy day today, like today, why aren't those windmills moving? Well, the reason is our electrical grid is not large enough to support the power that all of these windmills, if they were in service, would be sending to the grid. So they have these on a rotation where they run a few at a time. Now, environmentalists will tell you that, will try to convince you, this is clean energy. But I want you to look at the road that leads up to it and the dirt that accompanies it. It takes huge machinery to service these windmills and to install the windmills. And it compacts the ground. And so, yes, when you're done with these windmills, it's going to take some work, but you can tear them apart and you can refarm this ground. However, it's so compact and the minerals have been moved around so much, you're not going to have the success that you've had before these were installed. The lifespan of one of these windmills is 25 years approximately, and the blades are made of fiberglass. So there's a problem too. You cannot recycle the fiberglass. So when they take these apart, those blades end up in a graveyard somewhere or buried underground, which causes more pollution to our earth. Many times oil leaks from the top there all the way down into the ground and pollutes the earth. So I really believe instead of worrying about the trails up in the sky, there are things we should really be fighting against here on earth. Another problem with the blades is that they can catch fire, they can fall off, they can cause injury, not to mention how many thousands and thousands and thousands of birds are killed each year when they run right into those blades. There have been a lot of studies about off-coast windmills that are harming our whales and our sea life, as well as farm animals, our cows and our chickens, because they produce a very high pitch, and that pitch is harmful to animals. Windmill batteries need rare earth, and that rare earth is mined in third world countries. And do you know where the labor comes from in those third world countries? It's slave labor and it's child labor. And I just can't say anything good about them. I know we all feel like we're doing the right thing with these windmills, but we're not. They're not clean energy. They're not safe. They're ugly to look at. They're harmful to animals. They hurt our earth, and we can come up with better solutions. And what about solar panels? You know, if you try to talk to an environmentalist who is really gung-ho on clean energy, they're going to try to convince you that solar panels are very clean and that after they're taken up out of the ground, you can farm right away. And that might be true, but what has happened to the ecosystems over the 20 and 30 years that those solar panels have been in the ground, right? Now, the heat is attracted to those dark panels, and the heat comes off of those dark panels. It's going to affect the birds that fly above it, the insects in the ground, or any other animals that are around that area in close proximity. Well, you may say, who cares about the insects in the ground? You know, all of these things are part of an ecosystem that brings us our food. They are the ones that take care of the soil for us. So there haven't been enough studies to determine, in my opinion, if there's harm to the ground at all. We know that it's compacted down, and the big machinery that has to put these systems together and service these systems can cause a lot of damage to the ground. So you'll hear people say, well, you can plant plants with those solar panels, you know, but there's been no real concrete proof that you're going to get produce at the same time that you have a solar panel right there in the ground, and any harm that it may have done. Number two, how do you recycle those solar panels? Are all the parts of it recyclable? Do they just go into a landfill? What happens to them when they're done? Are they another problem like what happens to the wind farm blades? And remember that saying, whoever controls the food controls you. And that's so true. But remember, whoever controls the land controls the food. And it takes so many solar panels to even make a dent in the electric grid. And they're going to need more and more and more land. And we're going to be losing farmland. And we're going to be losing places that we can actually grow food. So keep that in mind too. Oh, a little bit here is fine. But that just takes another swath of earth that doesn't belong to us. And once it's taken away, it very, very rarely ever comes back. And don't forget, another thing you can do instead of worrying about those, trails in the sky is you can support your local farmer who is trying to bring you fresh, healthy food in a sustainable way using natural things instead of pesticides and chemicals that are harmful to you. So make a real conscious effort of where you're getting your food and who you are supporting. This is one of my favorite roads to walk on around my area because it has beautiful forest and trees, and they change with the seasons, but it's also become a dumping ground. Yeah, somebody thought it would be the perfect place to ditch their TV. And my biggest pet peeve in life is litter. And how many times, these people who are like, save the earth, plant a tree, clean energy, electric cars, and then they're driving down a country road and they throw their beer bottle out. Do you know how much damage that does to animals that could step on that glass and get hurt? Your home pets that you're taking out for walks that could step on the glass, get hurt, get an infection. The ecosystems underneath it that are being polluted. And it's everywhere. Everywhere you look, people are throwing their trash out. It's just disgusting. It's like they cannot wait 5 minutes to get home where they have a trash can. And it's really bad out in the country. People think, oh, nobody's watching. I'm just going to go dump my mattress or dump my TV or dump whatever. And then it's not my problem anymore. It becomes the farmers or the person who lives in that home out in the country. But it's just disgusting, you guys. Start with your children and your grandchildren and let them know the dangers of litter. That's the world they're going to grow up in if we don't get it cleaned up. So thanks for letting me rant, you guys, again. And this is it in a nutshell. I don't want these other homestead channels to try to scare people that they're being poisoned, that there's something flying over them and it's going to cause them great harm. Yes, we should be aware of our surroundings and we should always be in the know about what's going on with our food. But I don't want to panic people when there are things we could be doing right now, protesting against wind farms, doing what you can, protesting against solar farms. Why aren't they on the roofs instead of in our farm ground? Picking up litter when we can. I can't do it because I have to watch out for germs. I can get an infection. I could die, right? But I have seen organizations that are on the side of the road and they pick up litter for, their organization, and thank you if you're one of them. But knowledge is key. So let's teach our friends, our family about the dangers of litter, and also make sure that you support your local farmer. So thank you guys. I hope you'll come back and see me next week. I hope you'll eat something healthy and you'll grow something for yourself. Oh, good. Look at this. We've got a couple beer bottles, 3 beer bottles, and they chased it down with Gatorade. They didn't want to get dehydrated. Got a can there. Got some Mountain Dew, some water. Oh, we have a little bottle here of something good. Yeah, instead of looking up in the sky, you don't have to look very far. Just look in your forests or out in the country, because that's where people think the dumping grounds are. Oh, what's this? Well, we have a bottle down there, and we have another bottle there. Yeah. Or if you like to collect bottles,